So just want to say thank you for agreeing to be a guest. Just before we begin, I just want to tell you a little about KTCG Radio. So it stands for Keep the Conversation Going Radio. And basically what we want to do is bring people to talk about challenging social topics, and just have a conversation about it, just so that it comes to the fact that anyone can have this conversation, regardless of like background, how much limited expertise or knowledge you know of it. Just the simple fact that the conversation can happen. And then really quickly, my name is Jimise. I'm the host of KTG Radio. I guess I can share. Educator. I'm an educator. I teach pre-K. And this is Hamed.
Yeah, Hamed, as you guys all know. I work in IT, and I'm the co-host of this podcast. This was generally her idea, so I'm mainly helping like content creation, making sure we're asking the right questions at the time, making sure that we're keeping this podcast going, and we're trying to bring new faces into this space.
Yeah. So there's just a few disclaimers. Obviously, one mic. So if someone's sharing, just keep your mic muted or wait your turn to speak. If you have a disagreement with anyone in the chat, wait until they're done stating what they say, and then you can provide your rebuttal. And then regular Zoom etiquette, if there's any background noise in your area, just be mindful of that. So you can start on.
Okay. All right. You guys ready? You guys prepared?
Oh, you didn't explain to them.
Oh, okay. So Taji, since you're not gonna show your video, you can just be like, I agree, disagree, or I'm in the middle ground of the statement, okay?
Copy.
All right. So we're basically, the format is I'm going to be stating a few statements. So we emailed you all of the 30 statements that were potentially going to be on this podcast, but due to time constraints, and I don't know how much you guys are going to share, we limited it to down to 10 to 15, depending on how the time goes. So if everybody's ready, you got your water on the side, you're ready to jump in. We can start with the first statement. Oh, okay. And people who are showing video, you can thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down for basically if you disagree, agree, or you're in the middle ground of the statement. Okay? All right. So the first statement is, men should pay on the first date, no exceptions.
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody want to explain their reasoning? It looks like most of you guys are in the middle.
Me.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first date, I feel like most men ask first, so they're able to pay. I think it just depends on who's asking the person on a date. So that's my take on it.
Okay. Anybody else want to add on to that comment?
No, I agree with her. That's exactly what I was going to say. Depends on who asks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Beverly, you on the same page?
I agree. I agree. I'll give it that.
Okay, Gemise, you disagree. Why did you firmly make a disagreement?
I don't know. I think.
You muted it. Oh, never mind. You're good.
Come on, I don't know. I think for me, I guess I wasn't thinking of like that.
Yeah.
Which I probably should have, because I think if someone just naturally came up to me and asked me to go on a date, I would expect that they would pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think depending on who it is, and I guess depending on the relationship you have with that person, I feel like that conversation could easily be swayed, like maybe we'll go half and half, or maybe I'll pay, or things of that nature. Okay. But I do understand the middle ground.
I mean, I would also say that I definitely agree with everything we've said before, but I also think that it also depends on how comfortable you feel with that. You understand? So even if he acts first, but you still feel like, you know what, maybe I don't want, maybe we should split the bill or whatever the case might be, then you should go ahead and do that. So I think it also depends on what you feel comfortable with and what you're willing to allow to happen in the first date in terms of paying the bill.
Thank you for sharing. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
All right. Anybody else got anything else to add before we move on? No. All right. Looks good. So next statement is, if I make more than my partner, that is a turn off. In this case, it would be a man. Most women think that men should be breadwinners. Do you guys agree with this statement?
No.
Would agree with this statement? Okay. All right. Does anybody want to explain why they disagree with that? If you're making more than your partner, that is not a turn off.
I'll go. I think that obviously it depends on the job and what kind of job they have and what kind of job that you have.
Yeah.
I think it's like it has no correlation to who you are as a person.
Okay.
And making the amount of money that you make, yeah, it doesn't contribute to how you are as a person, how you take care of yourself, how you take care of others. It has absolutely no correlation whatsoever.
Okay. Anybody else want to add?
I think this is such a complicated question because it's obviously not a turn off. Like, you're not gonna be with a man just because of how much money he's making. You know, like if that's the case, then what are we doing? But at the same time, I also sorry. But at the same time, I also think like she was saying, it depends what kind of job is he doing. Is he making less money than you because he's being lazy? Because he doesn't want to wake up early in the morning, because he doesn't want to find a job, then obviously it's definitely going to be a turnoff. But if he's not making enough money because of, I don't know, COVID, he was laid off, specific circumstances, and obviously it doesn't. So it depends on the specific situation which he's in.
Okay. All right. Taja, would you like to add, or you're good?
I'm good. They said everything.
Jiniya?
I disagreed because it's like, I don't know, some people, like, their job doesn't provide enough income for what they put into their job. Like, I feel like the amount of money you make you shouldn't really judge someone off of that. So I think if they're doing their job and it's their passion, I don't really care. But if you're literally sitting on your butt all day doing nothing, complete turn off. Like, get out my inbox, don't talk to me. Like, you need to do something. But yeah, I don't really care about the money aspect.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like the key here is the ambition behind that individual. If this dude doesn't show any ambition, that's more of the deciding factor than how much he's making, basically. Yeah. All right. Okay. I mean, I'm not. It's like I was not expecting this type of answer, but it looks like you guys are a diamond in the rough, which I like.
It's all right. The old me would have been like.
I would definitely agree with that. The old me, 3 years ago, life teaches you things.
Okay, so life was a good teacher. Okay. All right, so the next statement is, I am comfortable with showing my emotions to my partner.
I'm in the middle.
In the middle. Okay, this is a good diverse answers. I see Gemise and Jiniya agreed. Would you like to explain why?
Yeah, I mean, for me, no one's ever, I'm just a very outspoken, my personality is just out there. My facial expressions, you'll know if I don't like you, if I do like you, I wear it on my face. So I feel like, and I don't hold back, because I'm like, a lot of people take that for an advantage. Yeah. They'll sit there and they'll be like, oh, she's so nice and so sweet. And I'm like, no, wrong answer. I may be able to cry, but I can also show other emotions at the same time. Okay. That's just how I've always been. I mean, I don't care. If you don't like me at my worst, you're not going to like me at my best.
Jiniya, you got anything to add?
I'm the same exact way. I wear my emotions on my face. I can't lie. I think in that sense, I'm an honest person, because I will tell you if I'm happy. I will show you if I'm sad. I will show you like what's bothering me. But I won't do it in like, I won't like lash out or anything. It won't be like a manic kind of way or an extreme kind of way. It'll just be like a normal way. Like I'm showing you my emotions, and it's not hard to. I mean, it's not easy to hide emotions either. It's very like, if your emotions come in, it's gonna come in.
Okay. All right. And for the people that were in the middle, Beverly and Tajnique, would you like to share why? It looks like
Okay. I'm one of those people that's really good at hiding my emotions. Unless I'm like really angry or like devastated about something, I'm good at hiding it. Just because I'm one of those people who observe other people first before I react to certain things. And when it comes to guys, I usually give them time to express their emotions first so I can act accordingly. Because based off my experience, they're a little sensitive. So, and I can be a bit of, as my friends say, I can be a bit of a force, so I have to calm down a bit. So I'm quiet for a reason.
You self-reflecting. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Beverly, would you like to share?
Well, like at the beginning of like, you know me, I'm like very open with my emotions. Like people know automatically when I'm mad. So like at the beginning of my relationship, like it was a little bit like difficult to show like my real like emotion, because you not only do I want him to take advantage of that, but I also want to be able to do it in a moderate way, like, you know, slowly, little by little. But now it is definitely like, it is what it is. Like he knows me, and I think it also makes the relationship go so much like easy, like smoother, because like it like communication is key, and emotion is a huge part of communication. So if he knows that I'm angry and mad, whatever the case may be, and I'm demonstrating that, he's not gonna have an excuse to like tell me I didn't know. I'm like, you know, because I showed you, like I communicated this with you. So I think now at the beginning it was definitely a little bit more difficult, but now transitioning to a longer period of time is definitely easier.
Okay, sounds good. And as the woman that slowly disagreed, Nadia, what's going on, man? What's going on?
Okay, so I feel like Hamed and Gemise already know, like I'm not really open about my emotions, especially like the sad part of myself. Like I don't really like to show that much emotion, but like if it's anger or anything, that's like really gonna come out. So I'm probably gonna be changing my answer to like the middle. But for me, I don't like communicating my emotions. Like I don't like saying, oh, I'm feeling sad, because like that just, I can't do it. Like I don't know, because I'm young still, and I just like can't figure out how to communicate that, but I literally just don't like doing it. So
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Like that answer. Thank you for sharing. If you guys have nothing else to add, we can move on to the next statement. And that is, a woman's role in a relationship is to follow her man's lead.
Absolutely not.
You're like,
Okay. So it looks like this is the first unanimous statement. Anybody can go first and explain.
I'll go.
Okay.
So I think it all depends on, well, it can depend on this context. It can depend on your man just completely a dumbass and you don't want to follow his lead.
Yeah.
Or because you know, as a person, you also have your own lead that you want to follow and not just follow someone else's. You guys should be in a partnership where you're both leading each other. You're both helping each other up and you're both guiding each other. So in that sense, it should be a partnership. It shouldn't be like, oh, I lead, you follow. Because I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of men say that. Because they think, oh, because I'm a man, I'm, you know, the leader, I'm the, you know, I know more than you or something. And that's a huge turnoff. Because you obviously, one, you really don't, like no one does. No one knows more than someone else. But because you could have your strengths, he has his strengths, you have your weaknesses, he has his weaknesses. So when So that statement itself, I lead, you follow, really comes from a misogynistic point of view. It's saying that, you know, women are just subservient, women don't have their own ambitions, women aren't capable to lead. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jiniya. Anybody else would like to add on?
I have a question. When you say lead, can you give us like an example, a specific example? Because that question it could lead to a lot of different places.
In our mindset, it's more like, because in some relationships, the man is the head of the household, right? He's the one that has to know what to do in every situation. If there's a problem, if whatever he thinks is the right solution, the whole household has to be behind him and support him. So that can be an example, if that makes sense. Yeah. Does that help you understand the statement?
This microphone. Yeah, definitely. I agree with what Jiniya said before. It's a partnership. And I was talking to my mom and my sister about this actually like 2 days ago. In a relationship, like things are not always going to be like 50-50. This is impossible to have that. Sometimes it might be 49, the other part was 51. But in when it comes to like the overall viewpoint of what a relationship is, no man should be telling you this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you cannot do, this is what you can't do. Because obviously, although it is we're not only a partnership, but we're also different individuals. We need to we have our own dignity, we are able to make our own decisions. And when a man tells you sit down, this is what you're gonna do, then he's taking that away from you. And I can say that because I've seen a lot of that, specifically in my culture. I'm Dominican, and men are, well, a lot of men in Dominican culture, not all of them, tend to be very patriarchal. Like, you can't go somewhere, this is what you gotta do, this is what you cannot do. I don't want you talking to this person, I don't want you talking to that person, I don't want you wearing this, I don't want you wearing that. And certain things that I think, like, when it inhibits who you are as a person, when it's limiting you, when it's not allowing you to fully express yourself, then that is when the issues emerge. So no, you can't tell me, you can't lead me. We're supposed to be leading each other.
Okay, I like that. Thank you, Beverly. Anybody else would like to add before we move on to the next statement? Tajnique, Gemise?
No, I think wait, who was talking?
No, you.
Good. I agree with both ladies who just recently spoke. That whole "you should lead me" thing, that rubs me the wrong way, because you're taking away my voice.
Yeah.
I'm not a little pet. I'm not going to just follow you everywhere you go and agree with you on something, especially if you're wrong. We both not going to sit here look stupid. I'm gonna let you know when you're wrong, and I'm gonna show you the right way if I know of the right way.
Yeah.
For me, I can't deal with that. That I'm a person. I was put on this earth to do what I need to do, and I wasn't put on this earth to do what you want me to do.
Gotcha.
So that's how I feel.
So, I'm very independent, so you're not gonna tell me what to do, where to go, how to do something. It's just not gonna work out. If anything, give me some advice on how to do something, cool, and I'll give you some advice on how to do something. It's a 50-50 type of thing. I'm not going to be following you like a puppet master. I'm not gonna do that. So if that's what you think is gonna happen, not gonna happen.
All right, thank you for sharing. Do you have anything to add, Gemise?
No, they Beverly kind of aimed at what I was gonna say about the whole just being a person. It's like, I mean, as a child, you do lead. You follow your mom, you follow your dad, you follow who is ever older than you. Yeah. But then I feel like once you get to a certain point, it's like you try to figure out who you are and who you want to become. So I'm like, if I'm trying to find my way, I'm not gonna find my way through you. I have to find it by making my own decisions. So No, don't leave nothing. And yeah, independent woman.
All right, thank you for sharing.
Wait, sorry.
Oh,
Can I say something?
yeah.
Sorry. Jiniya?
Yeah.
She said something very important, and I think we should be able to differentiate between you leading me and you giving me advice. You giving me advice is definitely more like, because obviously, you might know of a topic, you might know of a certain area more than I do. Just like I might know more of something that you might know. And that way we're going to complement each other because we're going to give each other advice on how to approach certain things and how to make certain decisions. It's very different when you're just simply dictating what I need to do. So if we're able to make that difference, then obviously that is definitely going to help the relationship a lot. It's easier said than done, because, but it's definitely going to help.
All right, thank you. All right, the next statement is going to be a woman's role in a family/household is to be the main caretaker of children and household duties, such as cleaning, cooking, etc. Uh-oh.
No.
Jiniya, you good?
She's still processing.
Yeah,
My hand is just like,
yeah. Middle, you're in the middle, down?
yeah, I'm in the middle down.
Down? Okay. So
But I'll explain why. Yeah.
who agreed? Nobody agreed?
I don't think so.
Okay, so who was in the middle ground?
It was Beverly
Okay.
and Jiniya. Yeah.
Okay. Junior, you want to go first?
Yeah. My thoughts won't be clear though, but
First.
I think because children get very attached to their mom easily because they are there by default. I think that yes, the mom should tend to the children, but so should the dad equally. But I think by default, and this doesn't mean, she has to take care of the kids all the time. It just means by default, she's there. So the children is a lot of her responsibility, but that doesn't negate the man from
participating.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm not going to take care of the kids. Like, that's why I didn't put my agree. It doesn't mean like I'm not going to take care of the kids at all, or it's still a partnership, but I think by default the mom has the responsibility of the children, just the children, not taking care of the house and all that. Like that, the house thing, that's both should be shared.
Should be shared. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Beverly, you look like you had something to say.
I think there needs to be a balance. Obviously, as women, we carry children in our womb for 9 months for a reason. But I think that when a dad is absent from a kid's life, you're able to see that later in life. And I've seen that. I've seen the effects of the absence of a father in a child's life. So that's one of the reasons why I disagree a little bit. I don't think the woman should be the sole caretaker of their children in the household. But I also think like if I don't want to be taken out of context. Okay? I don't. For example, if a woman, she's not working, she's home, it's expected that she's going to be the main caretaker of the house. And I say this because some women still are not as independent as some of us might be. Some women still like to rely on men. In that specific case scenario, some women still choose to stay at home. So if they're choosing to stay home, then obviously the conversation changes. Then you are expected to take care of the house, and you are expected to also take care of the children because he is the one who is working, and so you should be helping him in the household. I don't want to be taken out of context.
Okay. It makes sense. It makes sense really well.
She's like, I'm trying to reflect.
Yeah, you're fine. Anybody else who are in the middle ground wants to share?
That was it. Everybody else was disagreeing.
Okay. Now it's for the people who disagree. Would like to start us off?
I mean, I can start. I think with this question, and I have this conversation a lot with like my co-teacher, and she's married. And we kind of go back and forth about this whole statement that men believe, you know, that they have this concept in their head that if I don't do it, she's going to do it. Right. Mm-hmm. So if I have to, if the child needs clothes, jackets, food, like she's going to make sure it happens. Mm-hmm. And that's where that burden is placed on. And that's where in my mind, I'm like, we have to like diminish that completely, because it comes to this point where it's like, she needs to have all this stress and she needs to be thinking about the child, and she's got it and I don't have to worry about it. But it's like, it's a balance of you these children are just as much yours as they are mine. Yeah. And I think that's where my brain was going. Yeah.
Taji, Maya, got anything to add?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it is a balance, but at the same time, I'm just like, there's no way you expect me to stop my life and what I want to do just for you to just, I know you're going to have your own career and stuff like that, right? But some people in some situations, they'll be like, okay, I'm going to be the breadwinner. You have to stay home. You have to quit your job. You have to do this and that. 50-50, because I don't like the idea of the woman being the caretaker and then the man being the breadwinner. And I don't know. I feel like the duty should be shared either way, for career-wise, household-wise, everything.
Okay. Tasha, you have anything else to add, or you're good?
So yeah, I agree with everyone. Pretty much disagreed with it. Like, we made these babies together. We're gonna take care of it. Take care of them together. We got this place together. We're gonna take care of it together. Okay. I don't see the issue with that, unless there was, again, like everyone said, some type of agreement or a loss of a job, or, you know, something happened where the woman has to stay home. Yeah, you're gonna, you know, make sure the kids are set and good while he's at work and the house is clean, so it's less to have to worry about when he comes home. But that doesn't mean when the guy gets home, he doesn't tend to the kids too. Yeah. Those are your children. They're gonna want to see their dad. There are things that, as a father, he can teach them that I probably can't. Mm-hmm. So I'm not just going to rely on the woman to provide and take care of these kids when you're available to them. Yeah. And with the house and cleaning and stuff, I'm not a maid. We both going to do this. We both wanted this place, so we're both going to take care of it and make sure it's up to par. Okay. Just like if it was the opposite way, if the man is not working and he chooses to be a stay-at-home dad, you would do the same thing. You don't expect me to come home and take care of them too. And you just watch TV all day. No, that's not how that works.
All right, thank you for sharing, Tajnique. All right, so if anybody is done, we can move on to the next statement, which is, a man should take care of all of the bills in the household. Oh.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Anybody, since it's unanimous, anybody can jump and start and explain their reasoning.
I want to know what's going on with the money. Simple as that. If we're both providing financially, mm-hmm. we both need to be involved with taking care of the bills so we know where the money's going. Mm-hmm. Just in case, God forbid, something happens to that man, mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I can't be in the dark when it comes to finances, because then I might lose the house, or what if I lose my job? Now I don't know where things go, what's happening here. These people are calling me. It's best that both take care of it. Now, if one is better at taking care of finances than the other, then that's understandable, but don't keep the other person in the dark.
That's a good point. Yeah. Anybody else has anything to add? Jiniya, no?
Yeah, I guess I definitely agree with that. And I'm just thinking why I would answer that the way that I answered the question. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I guess it's just my mom and her building in this independency is she always told me don't rely on no man. So it's like, if you don't have the money and you're expecting him to make sure you got it all good, yeah, it's a lost cause. I guess, and that's when Beverly was mentioning, the absence of a father. Like, you would know that I have an absence of a father in my life. And I think that shows that, like, the sharing of bills should be, like, it just should just happen automatically. I think that's important, one, for that person to just be able to understand what it means to be an adult, right? Because you're not just going to be sitting up there living lavishly. I don't know where your money's going, but it needs to be going here. And if I'm spending my money, my hard-earned money, you should be spending your hard-earned money too. Unless, I guess, you made an agreement and you're like, you pay for the bills and then you pay for all the dates and the gifts and so it's like there's an equal amount of money being spent. But that's only if they have an understanding of what it means to pay bills, because it's no joke.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Anybody else before we move on? It's fine to say no. No? Jiniya, you good? Not? All right. So we can move on to the next one, which is I find men who are emotionally available, not unavailable, unattractive.
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle? Nah, you about to disagree crazy.
Go on, Naya.
It's fine, Naya, though. You don't have to appease nobody. So let me repeat it. I find men who are emotionally available, aka sensitive, unattractive.
Naya better wiggle her finger.
Okay. Disagree for Jiniya, disagree for Gemise. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Okay. You two can think. Jiniya, Gemise, you guys can go first since you guys disagreed. And Taji, you said you're in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Jiniya, Gemise, either one can go first since you guys disagree.
Yeah, I'll go. I think for me, since I don't know, I just like to see a man that's able to cry. I think that shows just who you are overall as a person. Because I feel like men get but from what I've seen, it's so easy for them to show anger or that they're tough, that they're hard. And it's like, I know you can cry. I know you get upset. I know you get sad. So I feel like you need to show me those emotions. And I'm very willing with like letting it, accepting that this is how you're feeling. So I guess for me, that's why I don't find it unattractive. Because it doesn't show me that you're weak. It shows me that you're a person, that you're human. And I think that's very important. Yeah.
Jiniya, you want to share?
Yeah. Going again to what I said earlier, if you are able to, I guess, well, at least to me, if you're able to show your emotions, it shows me that you're honest. It shows me that you aren't afraid to cry. You aren't afraid to, be in touch with your sensitive side. And if you like being emotionally available, just shows that you don't submit to the status quo, that a man shouldn't show his feminine side or his sensitive side. And there's nothing wrong with showing that side. It just shows that you're human, like yin and yang. Like, we're both gonna have the same emotions, and we're gonna both want to express those emotions. And if you can easily express them, then that's better. It's not unattractive in any way.
Thank you, Jiniya. Taji, I think you're the only, well, not the only one who were in the middle, but you said you're in the middle. Would you like to share why you're in the middle?
Sure. So don't get me wrong, I agree with you guys that it is a good thing for a man to show his emotions because he's human. I've spoken to a lot of my guy friends about that. And when they're sad, I make sure that I tell them, if you gotta cry, cry. Like, I expect you to cry. You're a human being. You're not a robot. But I have dealt with sensitive guys. Some of them are too sensitive, and it gets weird. They are a little over the top and you have to, you feel like you're walking on eggshells with them. So that's why I'm in the middle. I'm not against it completely. Like, you need to be a robot. You can't show emotions. That's BS to me. I want a guy to show emotions, but don't overdo it to the point where you can't control your emotions. So that's how I feel. I mean, I feel that regarding anybody, not just men, but you need to learn how to have some level of control over them and to really think logically about reacting to certain things.
Thank you, Tajnique.
Hmm?
Naya, Beverly, have you guys decided on an answer?
Still stuck.
I said before that emotion is a huge part of communication.
Okay.
It's not like I want him to tell me, oh my God, I'm feeling sad. I just think that it's not unattractive to me. I think I actually like that because I like for him to reciprocate the same way I'm being with him. You know, because if, let's say, we're having a conversation and we're getting deep in thought, whatever the case might be, I want him to reciprocate that. So I think that for me, it's not unattractive. It's actually very attractive. And I think that, like Taji said, there also needs to be a balance. Like, I don't want to be out in the streets and, like, you're crying. Like, I think there's, like, a time and place for everything. So, and if we're able to understand that and knowing this is a good time for us to be sensitive with each other, this is a good time for us to have a conversation, like, then it's fine. I just think we just need to find out the right place and the right time.
Gotcha. Naya?
Man, I'll say I'm in the middle.
Okay. Do you have a reasoning?
Well, I'm not really emotional, so for me, when I talk to people and they're like super emotional and they want to be a little bit, not a little bit sensitive, but it's like the sensitivity is like not what I'm used to. It's just like, okay, maybe I should just not talk to this person. I'll be able to, like, I don't know if I'll be able to, let me get the words out. But I don't want to sound like I'm being a female dog. I don't want to sound like I'm being that because I'm like very tough. I'm not really emotional. So if I'm saying something and you take it very sensitively or if you take it very emotionally, I'm going to be like, okay, well, that's disgusting because I'm not used to that. So I don't know. I don't know.
No, that's fine. You don't have to know. I mean, this is why we ask the questions to help you guys think about and maybe find an answer later. But if you do, we'll be open ears. Beverly?
I mean, I think also, like, now that we're having this conversation, I'm thinking, like, why would we even find it unattractive? Why is it that why do we even have to think about someone showing his or her, well, a man showing his emotions as unattractive? Like, does that make him any less of a man? Does that take away from his virility, from his ability to be a man? Like, why is it that we're questioning, or like the fact that we even answer, like, asking these questions makes me think like it's something's not right. Because emotion is something that is part of us. It's something inherent. It's something that we're born with. So being able to demonstrate that and being able to show that is also as natural as having them. So the fact that we are even questioning it or asking why shows that as a society we probably have not been doing things right for a long time.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
We can move on to the next statement, which is, I do not need a man to feel complete in life / productive, ambitious. I am productive, ambitious when I am single. Sideways? Okay.
You don't.
Up?
The first part.
I agree with both.
You agree with both? Okay. Beverly,
Yeah.
you have a question, Beverly?
Wait, could you repeat the question?
So, okay, so this statement is a two-parter, right? So I do not need a man to feel complete in life. And the other side of it is I am more productive when I am single. Oh, crap. Is it middle? Middle? Okay, so Junior, you were middle ground? Nah, you was up, and Taji, what was your answer again?
I agree with both. I'm up.
You're both. Okay.
Thumbs up.
So people who agreed with both statements, you can start.
I mean, it just goes back to my mom just instilling the whole independency thing in me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just got to do what I got to do because no one's going to do it for me. And I think I've been able to go through life with that thought process. I'm not saying I don't mind having a man in my life, obviously, but I think I don't need to feel complete, like for him to be in my life. And I would say, I mean, I feel like I'm still productive and ambitious just as I was when I was single. Mm-hmm. So I think that is very dependent on who you have in your life, mm-hmm. Whether they're motivating you or they're pushing you to be a better person. Mm-hmm. And because if they're bringing you down, you're obviously not going to be productive and ambitious. Mm-hmm. So that's why I feel the way that I feel.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else who agreed would like to share?
I said I agree also because of that independency that I have. Mm-hmm. The key word is need. I don't need anyone to feel.
Yeah, that's the key word. Yeah.
Would I want someone to feel like to fill in that little bit of void that I have? Yes, but need I don't need. And for the second part, it was like more ambitious.
More ambitious / productive. Like you find yourself doing more outside a relationship than when you're in one.
I'm gonna say I act the same way. I'm pretty. It does depend on the person that I'm with, mm-hmm. because sometimes that person might bring something more out of you out. Yeah. So it's that. But I don't think I'm more ambitious when I'm single. Wow.
All right. Whoever was in the middle ground, you guys can share now. Oh wait, Taji. I'm sorry. Taji, would you like to share? Or are you good?
They pretty much said everything. For the first question, it's more of a want, not a need.
Yeah.
And for the second one, so far, I have been more productive and ambitious when I'm single. Mm. I think maybe down the line, I'll have that support and less of a distraction.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm definitely more productive and ambitious single.
Okay. All right. We see you. Jiniya, looks like you're ready.
I think it's more of having someone as more of a supplement to your hard work and ambitions, but it's definitely not a need. That's why I was kind of like in the middle.
Yeah.
It would be great to obviously have someone to like Jiniya said, to fill in that little void. Yeah. But it's not a need. It's not like you'll die if you don't have someone, or yeah, like. But the second part, mm-hmm. I feel like I'm more productive when I'm single, for sure, like by far. Because I feel like when you're in a relationship, you're also focusing on the other person too, like what they need and what they want, their ambitions and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I do notice that I am more productive. Again, it doesn't mean it's a good or bad thing. It's just an observation.
Yes. Gotcha. Thank you, Jiniya. Beverly?
So I would say, obviously, I do not need a man to be complete. Personally, like, before having a boyfriend, like, they would, like, family members, friends, all like that, would always ask me, when are you gonna get a boyfriend? When are you gonna get a boyfriend? When are you gonna get a boyfriend? And that eventually, like, makes you feel like you're not, like, complete. It makes you feel like there is a missing part because they're always asking you for that. So it did take a while for me to realize Like, you don't need a man in order for you to feel complete. So obviously you don't, and my mom has always taught me, like, you need to learn to be self-sufficient, not only in talking about being in a relationship, but like without your family, you need to be self-sufficient, not only economically but emotionally. So obviously I do not need, I think I don't. It's, sometimes you feel like, oh my god, I miss, okay, whatever. Jimmy, stop laughing. When it comes to being ambitious, I think that the way I've been raised is you need to be ambitious regardless of who you're with. You need to be ambitious regardless of who's next to you. I've always wanted the best, and I will continue to want the best. That being said, I think that when you're with your partner, with your boyfriend, there is something that makes it more, I don't know, more exciting when you're both like working together and building towards something together. So I would say that just because of that specific thing is why I like was in the middle ground, because I do find myself to be a little bit more, I don't know, like content while also being ambitious, like wanting more, because I feel like we're doing it together, and being able to do it together just feels so much better than doing it on my own.
That's sweet. I like that. Thank you all for sharing with that. Those were some great answers there. All right, we can move on to the next one. This one might get interesting. We'll see. Women are superior to men. Disagree. Taji?
I'm in the middle.
Oh, okay. You want to go first or you want to go last?
I'll go last.
Okay. All right. Whoever disagreed can go first. Beverly? No, you're good, Beverly, for me.
I mean, we're not, I don't think we're superior. I don't think they're superior to us either. I think we are somewhat equal, but I do think that the fact that we are the one bringing kids to this world make us a little bit, not superior, but we have somewhat of an importance over you guys, but I think we're equal.
All right, I feel that. Anybody else? Jiniya?
I just kind of agree with everyone. I don't think anyone's superior than each other. Like, no gender is more superior.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that, there's like really strong qualities that we have that are somewhat better than men. But yeah, I think both genders have qualities that are both admirable, and just it doesn't, I don't know, it shouldn't be on a pedestal. It shouldn't be on like, oh, it's better or it's not better, So that's my opinion.
Gemise, Naya?
I just think that we're all equal no matter what the gender is, no matter what the race is, all of that stuff, it doesn't really matter. Like, we're all equal.
Got you. I see you, Dr. Martin Luther King. Gemise?
No, I mean, I don't ever see myself above someone. Yeah. I feel like regardless of the gender, you all bring something specific to the table, and it could be based off your gender, obviously, because of I'm just thinking of like genitals, like you're gonna need one and the other in order to do something. But the way science is going, we don't need that after a while. Yeah, Beverly's like, yeah, shut up. But I guess I was just thinking in the cases of like we're people, like our gender and all those other things, obviously were named, they were labeled. So it's like before that I am a person, and I don't bring these certain things to the table because I'm a woman. Like I bring it because this is who I am as a person. And that's why I could be superior or I could be equal to someone. But that it's not based on my gender. Yeah.
All right. Madam Taji, what makes you middle ground? What's going
on? So when I was thinking superior, biologically, I hate the word superior, but I do think women do bring a lot more to the table biologically. But overall, I would agree with everyone else. As human beings, we are equal.
Okay, got you.
But that's why I said I'm in the middle. It depends on what you're talking about.
Depends on what you're talking about. Okay, all right.
Overall, we're all human beings.
Gotcha. All right, thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
The next statement is going to be feminism is improving the relations between men and women. Oh, wow.
No.
Oh, okay. Since it's
Can I go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Thought you can go.
No, you're good. You're good. You're
No,
good.
you go ahead.
Okay. I think feminism has worsened relationships because it's made women realize
Mhm.
what the status quo has been.
Mhm.
And so a lot of women are waking up now to, you know, like misogynistic beliefs and all of that. So it doesn't make it better. I think it's just making it worse because we are realizing that. And unfortunately, a lot of men are not receptive to
Mhm.
those beliefs, those feminist beliefs that, you know, obviously the traditional gender roles and, you know, what a woman can or cannot do, and what a man cannot do.
Mhm.
So in a sense, it has not. Wait, what was the statement again?
Yeah.
I'm like rambling, but I'm forgetting the key statement.
Good.
Wait, can you tell me the statement again?
Improving the relations between men and
Okay. So yeah, I think it improves a woman's like relationship with herself, but it definitely does not, because it's just not like, I could just see like men are just not receptive
Mhm.
to feminist beliefs. They just don't. Just been so ingrained in both of them, in both man and woman, that oh,
No,
okay, I saw the finger.
no.
Okay,
Before you finish, do you think that men are thinking about the extreme feminists or the feminazis?
yeah, a lot of the times I think they are, because whenever I get into like stupid internet arguments, they're always referring to like the extreme beliefs. It's just like, no, feminism just means like we're just human just like you too.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's just that I don't think they understand that the basic beliefs that a woman has her own autonomy, her own agency,
Yeah.
her own, you know, she's just her own person who deserves as much rights as you do.
Mhm.
Um, okay, I'm done.
All right. Anybody else?
I agree
Mhm.
with Jiniya. That's how you say your name?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I have male friends that are constantly going back and forth on with a lot of feminist topics, and they do go to the extreme feminazis and stuff like that. I have to constantly tell them forget about them because they're making things worse for us, because they want to be equal, but then they're also like talking about things that also divide us. And I'm just like, you're not making any sense, which is making the men feel like they need to go on the defensive about things. And I just think, again, a lot of men aren't accepting the fact that women don't want to submit to certain things they put in society. And a lot of them don't take responsibility for a lot of the reasons society is the way it is.
Yeah.
They just, instead of saying, I had this conversation recently with one of my male friends. I'm like, men did this, men started this, men did this. Yes, women, you know, enforced it later down the line because we were following men. But he was like, oh no, society did that. Well, who was in charge of society? It wasn't us. It was y'all. So it's not really helping the conversation. It's putting men on a defensive instead of having them actually open their ears and listen before they speak. They are ready to attack.
Mhm. Okay. And Taji, do you think that men being on the defensive, is that because of men, or is it because of the ideas that are being presented by feminism itself? Like, do you think men are just being sensitive, or do you think that it's the ideas of feminism?
I think it's a bit of both.
Okay.
I think because they're already so programmed to think a certain way, that's where their sensitivity to a certain topic comes in, because their mindset is already made up for how they were raised. So based off of that, they react to these new findings, quote unquote, by the feminists. So it's a bit of both.
All right, thank you for sharing. Anybody else would like to add? Beverly?
I mean, I don't want to be polarizing. I don't want you guys to think, oh, this girl, she's crazy. I agree with everything that's been said. I do think that feminism hasn't helped relationships, obviously, for reasons that Jiniya stated and Tajnique. I think when we look back at how feminism started, it was mainly inequality. We wanted equal rights. We wanted our right to vote. We wanted to be treated equal. We didn't just want to stay in the house. We wanted to be able to go out there in the workplace. So we wanted, as women, we wanted to feel like we could do more than just staying in the house and cleaning and taking care of the kids. And from that perspective, I totally agree. When it comes to feminism now, one of the things that I think is not helping, it's this sexual liberalism that exists, specifically when it comes to the female. Obviously, I'm not saying that a man can go do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're not gonna say anything. But I also think that as women, we need to protect our virtue. We need to be able to try to be as most conservative as possible, because I do think that I see women as like flowers, as petals. I think that we are fragile. I think that we do deserve and that we need to take care of ourselves. And I don't think that we should be out there exploring all this kind of thing. So I think that area of feminism is definitely also affecting relationships nowadays. I don't want you guys to judge me, but this is something that I personally believe.
Understood.
So
Thank you for sharing that. Anybody would like to add?
I don't know, I'm over here thinking about Beverly's statement.
Gemise, don't start with me.
Anything else to add?
Jiniya looks like.
Oh, Jiniya, you have something? Oh. I think she's frozen. Jiniya?
I would say I'm gonna have to drop off, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Everything okay?
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for the time that you spent.
Okay, this was great. I really wish I stayed for the whole entire thing. But yeah, I have to drop off.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing that.
Thank you, guys.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Gemise, did you have anything?
I don't know. I'm just interested in this. Because I have heard that. Like, we want to be able to express ourselves sexually just as much as men, right? But I think it's the fact of the acceptance. It's like men can talk to other men, or they can outright just say how many women they've had sex with. And it's like you say something about it, but it's not taken like, ew, he's nasty. Like it's very, I'm trying to find the word. I can't get the word right now. But it's like, yeah, like you did that? Oh God, like, can I get her too? Like in that instance, it's like that. And I don't know, I guess for me it's just the fact that if a man sees a woman that's very open and free with her sex and like her sex life and just wanting to do what she wants to do, they're quick to just jab her and be like, oh, she's a hoe, she's a slut. It's always these terms that pop up. But it's like, you are just as much as a hoe, a slut, just as she is, if that's what you're calling her. And I think that's where it becomes a problem. It's like, if I want to do that and I'm doing it safely and I'm protecting myself in that instance, why can't it be just accepted? Like, why can't I do what I want to do?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's where it comes into. But I hear you, Beverly.
Beverly, share. You're good. If you have something to say, you got it.
I hear her.
You're muted.
This freaking microphone, yo. I agree.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of like double standards when it comes to men and women. We accept certain things from men that we don't want to accept from women. But I think like before you asked like are men superior to was that a question? If men are superior to women, right?
Yeah.
They're not superior, but I think that we're different.
Mm-hmm.
I think that maybe it's because I've been raised, Christian.
Yeah.
Obviously, like if an example, my boyfriend or before him, whatever, if I was to be in a relationship hypothetically and like I asked the guy like how many like have you slept with, if he slept with over like 20, 25 or like even 10 or even 8, I'm like goodbye. You understand? So for me, I think like it's just something about being a female, being a woman that men don't have that. I don't think we're superior, but I think there's something like an essence that we have that I think it's not destroyed by the amount of men that you sleep with, but I also think that it's something that needs to be protected. I don't even know how to explain. I don't even know what word to use for that, but I think there's something about us. I mean, my mom always tells me like, if there were imagine like the world without females, it would be an ugly world. Like we bring like color, we bring joy. So I think that because of that and because of what we bring, we need to like, I don't know, conserve ourselves. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, you're allowed to have your opinion. It's good that you're sharing with that because we don't want everybody to seem like they're thinking the same way. I feel like it's also a part of feminism to like be allowed to think what you want to think without enforcing your ideas onto people. But if you want to, have the freedom to live life the way you want it, I feel like that's the essence of feminism in itself. But that's an important thing that you're sharing. Thank you. I'm pretty sure you will find a lot of people who think the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, Naya, did you share? No. You good? You don't have to. It's fine.
I'll share. Honestly, oh gosh. Feminism has changed so much, so it's like you always think of the wrong idea when you think of feminism. You don't think of the first idea, which is what they wanted, which was for women and men to be treated equally, to be given the same amount of pay, to be able to work in the male-dominated industries.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now the idea kind of changed. So now they're really thinking, oh, women are better than men. That's what the feminists want. Like, no. So I think it is like diminishing the relationship between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it just comes with education. Like, if you really learn about what the feminist movement was about and how it changed and why we should change it back to the original of it, then we'll be able to improve the relationship between men and women. That's just a little bit of what I go on and on about this.
Thank you. We can move on to the next one. Having children is a necessary achievement in my life. That's the key word, necessary.
People look at me like.
Okay, Taji?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Having children is a necessary achievement in my life.
Oh, no.
All right, so the people, okay, so you're in the middle, Beverly? You're in the middle? Okay, got you. So since you agree, you can go first, Jimise.
I don't know, and I'm being very transparent and I'm being very honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I don't know. I mean, I work with children. I love children, and I really want to have kids of my own. I've been talking about this since college, But I think, and I'm thinking about our conversation that we have, and I was expressing to Hamed that not being able to bear children
Mm-hmm.
would make me feel like I wasn't a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it depends on like how you're raised and the people you're around, or like what you want in life. Like I want children, and I think that's what's the big factor of making it necessary in my life. Like I want my legacy to go on. I think about the future a lot. I think about death a lot. Like I think about those things a lot of the time in my life, and I think that's why I find it necessary for me to have children. Yeah.
All right, Beverly, since you were in the middle down, what's up? What's going on?
I don't find it necessary.
Okay.
5 years ago, if you would ask me, I would say, I mean, I don't find it necessary, but I think it's still good. Would be a good thing. 5 years ago, I would give I would just say no. Like, I don't want kids. I don't want to deal with that because the society is going to shambles, and I don't want to bring a kid into this world like it is right now. And I know that mothers, they worry so much about their kids. It's just like, I don't like I have anxiety issues. I don't want to bring a child and I'm like, oh my God, where is my kid right now? Oh my God, COVID. Like, imagine how women that were pregnant felt during COVID. Just imagine that. They were probably like scared because they don't know what the hell is going to happen. Pardon my word. But I don't think it's a necessary thing, but I do think that it's an essential part of being a woman. Like Gemise was saying, I think that it's a function that we have, that we were given. And if you have something, it's for a reason. So just because of that, I was like, so if you want to have kids, go ahead. I don't think it's necessary, but if you think you must, if you want to, if you would like to, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Beverly. Naya, Taja, you guys disagree. What's going on?
So, I tell everybody this all the time. Like, I do not want kids. Don't bring kids near me. Like, I'll be the cool aunt, but I'll never be someone's mother. I'm not going to say never because it probably might happen, but I really don't want that for myself. I just don't think I would be able to raise a child the way I would want to. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm not mentally ready, or I don't think I would ever be mentally ready to have a child and instill the things that I want to instill in that child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that for myself, sorry.
Okay.
Taja, you got anything to add or you're good?
I've probably told to my friends as well. Yeah, forget it. If you see me pregnant, the world is coming to an end. But I was really against it for a good while. I'm still like, it's not a thought in my mind right now. Maybe down the line I'll be like, oh, I want to pass something on, keep my bloodline going. Maybe I'll have one or two, but it's not something that's a necessity to me. It's not on my mind. It's not something I think about. I was never one of those people that picked out baby names. It's not a thing. I can tolerate children, but if I have the opportunity not to be around them, I will definitely take that opportunity. I don't think I have the patience to raise a child as of yet. I'm going to say that as of yet. I don't have the patience. I have a puppy, I have a dog, and just taking care of that dog alone lets me know. Get yourself a pet. That's what you need. A little furry pet like a dog, not a cat. Get a dog.
Damn, I guess
they are babies themselves. So if you're able to take care of a dog and have patience for that, they're fur babies. If you have patience for that, you know that you can take care of a child.
Okay. Naya, how you feeling about Taja's answer? You have a dog. Can you relate to that?
I got Prince in November and he's still driving me crazy. He's actually sleeping right now, which is like the most ever. But yeah, that's a good idea. I know for sure, like I can't do it. I can't do kids now because he's a pain in my ass.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh.
I feel you, girl. I have a dog who needs me to hold him every 10 minutes.
Damn.
No.
Does not like every time I leave the room, he cries. I just don't understand. I don't know what to do with this dog. Like, I'm just like, I'll talk to you when I want to talk to you, not right now. Like,
See, that's a baby. They need your attention constantly.
Yeah.
I ain't got the time. I really don't. Leave me alone.
I'm sorry, it's so funny. Because I don't have a dog, but I got a cat. But I work with kids, so I got the patience.
Gotcha. All right, thank you for sharing, ladies. We can move on to the next statement, which is, well, for the people who said they don't want children, but think hypothetically. I will raise my children differently depending on their gender. Taji?
Nope.
Okay. Beverly? Okay. Since you agreed, Beverly, you can go first, and then we'll move down the line.
Okay, so
all right.
No. Go.
Okay.
I would raise them differently because I would want them to behave the same. I don't know if you get that. So I think that because of the society that we're living in, we have so many different ideologies, so many different perspectives. And it's like we have to reprogram ourselves and reprogram our children. So the things that we would tell the little girl, we are trying to make that different. The things that we would tell a little boy, we're trying to make that differently. So that's why I'm saying I would raise them differently. Because if, let's say I have a girl and a boy, like now I have to tell her, it's okay. Like you don't need to depend on a man. You should you should be whatever you want to be. And to the guy, and to the boy, I'm gonna tell him you need to respect. And then for the boy, I'm gonna have to tell him like you need to respect women. You need to be doing this differently. You need to be doing that. So, like I don't know how to explain it, but they would have it would have to be different so that they could be like the same once they like reach society. I don't know if Janice, do you understand like what I'm trying to say?
Are you trying to go against society's ideologies?
Yes. So it's like
Correct what they're maybe learning from the outside.
Exactly.
Can be good human beings, which is the same both genders or like any gender, not any gender can be just a good human being at the end of it.
Do you understand? In a little bit. So that's why I mean when I say I would have to raise them differently.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
She got me thinking now.
All right, Gemise is thinking. Naya, Taji, you guys got something to share?
because when I was when I was thinking about what you said, I'm thinking more of differently, like
between boy and girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it's however you perceive.
Oh, okay, so
yeah,
I'll just stick with my answer. So, because I have one close brother, so I know exactly how he was raised, what he got away with, and for me, I didn't get away with a lot of stuff. So it was kind of like, oh, you can bring these girls in the house and do whatever, but once Naya gets a boyfriend, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a World War III, you know? So it's kind of like I want them to be treated as equally as possible. I don't want anyone to get away with something and then the other person doesn't. Like, that's just not how life is going to go in my house.
Gotcha.
So, that's the way I was thinking about it. But Beverly? Yes?
Yeah, Beverly.
I see what she was talking about.
Gotcha.
I'm just thinking about the question differently, so.
No, you're good. Anything counts. Taj, you got anything to add or you're good?
I agree with both of them. Like Beverly, I wasn't thinking in that way until you said something. I get what you're trying to say with raising them differently so they can act the same. So they can be human beings, respect for each other, go against, gender norms and stuff like that. You're going to be taught this, but I need you to understand this isn't necessarily true or it's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're saying on that part. And Naya, that's how I was thinking initially, because I have a younger brother. It's just me and my brother. And I've been told outright that my brother, you know, he's a boy. He's going to get away with things that I can't. And that kind of pissed me off. It's just like, why?
Wow.
He's a human being. I don't care if he has something else between his legs that I don't. Like, what does that mean? That means absolutely nothing.
You're saying
so,
like stay out late right now and you can.
Huh?
Your brother can stay out late right now and you can't?
So, how do I put this? I can stay up, well, I can stay out late, but they'll be calling me more often than they'll call him. And I guess mainly for my dad, my mom is a little bit more like, you know, I'll let you go. But my dad is more like, you know, he's a boy, you know, it's different for him and he can do this, that, and the third. You're a girl, you know, men are going to be after you, da-da-da. I'm like, that got nothing to do with me personally. Mm-hmm. I can handle myself, but you don't give me the chance to handle myself because I'm a female. Mm-hmm. You expect me to be vulnerable and fragile. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking when, you know, they said treating genders differently. No, you both are going to get the same curfew at whatever age I gave the first one to. You know, no, neither one of y'all can bring anybody in the house, or if I, you know, change my mind, okay, you both can, whatever the case may be, not because you're a boy, you're a girl, and, you know, simple stuff like, oh, this is for girls, this is for boys. I don't care. Just be a good human being. Respect each other, love each other. Don't be just, you know, showing your ass out in the streets. Do what you need to do to be a good human being.
Gotcha. All right, thanks, Janice, have you come to?
Yeah. Beverly made me my mind started rambling. So I was like, am I answering this question right? But that's what I was thinking of, like how Tajnique and Naya was thinking. Like, I wouldn't tell my son one thing and then tell my daughter another thing based on who they are and what their gender is. Mm-hmm. Like, it would just be off rip, like, you just not going outside, neither one of you. Yeah. Or you're not going to get away with murder, and I'm going to let him get away with murder. Because, me and I are siblings, so, you know, same brother. And I do believe that he can get away with murder if he really wanted to. But, like, I don't want to put that on my children. And then I started thinking about, like, just how I am as a teacher. Like, I let the boys dress up. I let the girls play with, you know, the trucks, the cars. Like, they're very open to whatever they need to in the classroom. And I think that's what's probably, like, also had a part in why I'm answering the question the way I'm answering it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. They hit it on the nail.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. All right. Next statement. Women should work in more male-dominated industries, i.e. firefighting, construction, plumbing.
Agreed.
Oh. Beverly?
She don't have it into yet.
What's going on, Beverly? You good over there? Agreed. Okay. It looks like everybody's unanimous. Anybody can join in on their reasoning.
You said should. Obviously, always should. Now it's a matter of can they?
Okay.
Because previously you asked, are men superior to women? No, they're not. But we're built differently.
Yeah.
Can a man carry an example? Obviously, I might be exaggerating. I can't carry 50 pounds of anything. I can't do that. A man probably can. So, for example, being a firefighter, that requires a lot of physical strength. I'm not talking about the logical part. I'm talking about physicality. Yeah. And men have that. And obviously, there are women that can, because there are women that are stronger than men, that there is this is obvious. But in generally speaking, we're built differently, and men tend to be physically stronger. So I think that question raises a lot of like different points, because this is when we get into misconceptions. People start saying, oh no, there aren't many female firefighters because society is prohibiting women from being firefighters, because society doesn't want females to do this, society doesn't want women to do that. It is not that society, that specific example, doesn't want women to be firefighters. It's more like, just like men have limitations, we also have certain limitations. Obviously, we can work to exceed those limitations. But generally speaking, there are certain things that it's easier for men to do than for women. It's not. So that perspective, yes, they should. Now, can they? It's a whole different question.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I agree. Yeah, we should be allowed to do all these things and be in those fields, so it's not considered a male dominant field, just a field. But we do have our limitations physically, so we would have to work a lot harder in certain jobs to get to the same level as a man when it comes to physical strength, like that firefighter example. You know, these jobs that require you to move around a lot are based off of the physique of a man. So we're going to have to work twice as harder. Unless you have an excess of testosterone in your body, then you're good. But, you know, it depends on that field. So those more physical labor type of jobs, we can do it. We just have to work twice as hard. There's no doubt about that. It's a matter if we want to.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share?
I'll go. I think women should. I do think it is going to be difficult for more women to get in these more dominated industries.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I put a quote, like a little, quote around it, because I don't think that, I feel like society has made them male dominated. Like for me, I don't think plumbing is male dominated. I don't think it should be. Like, someone can fix a faucet. It's not that serious.
Like plumbing?
Like some of the stuff is like kind of like, I don't think it's male dominated. I feel like it's just like, you can do this. You can do it. Like if you have a brain, you can do it. But for the firefighter thing, I think that's more physical. So also, I think it's just that women, even if they get in that field, they aren't going to be taken seriously. Like my mom, when she worked for an electrical company, like the men would say, "Oh, why are you getting on the ladder? We shouldn't make that woman do it because she can't do it." Like it's kind of like, if I can get up on this ladder and fix this dang light bulb, it doesn't matter if you know what I mean. So I don't think it. I don't think it should be male dominated based or whatever.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ryan. Who's gonna go, Gemise?
Yeah. I guess like as everyone was speaking, and Beverly kind of framed it as there's this should, there's can. I think I was thinking mainly about like exposure. Yeah. Like if I see male firefighters, I'm not gonna want to go gear towards that, right? It's gonna be more of a, oh, it's interesting to look at, but I don't think that's what I would want to be, or that I can be it. But yeah, I guess that's what I was aiming at. This whole exposure thing. It's like, I should be able to go into that field, but how can I if I have never seen anyone that looks like me or that has my same physique do it in that field? Yeah.
But I think, like, can I talk?
Yeah.
I definitely, I definitely agree with your point about exposure, but I think the conversation is a little bit deeper than that. Okay, so, but because I feel like we tend to just speak about certain things like not in a, like, very superficially. There is not enough exposure, but we tend to blame, oh, it's male dominated. Oh, it's male dominated. Oh, it's okay, it's male dominated, so what? So you should try to, like, just because there isn't a female there that looks like you doesn't mean that you should not try to do it. I think there is enough exposure, but I think that we also need to know that there are certain things that we simply cannot do. And the things that it's prohibiting us from having enough exposure is because of certain limits that we have. It's not necessarily because it's just male dominated. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think we also need to see there's a fine line between understanding I simply can't do it and understanding, oh no, it's just because it is male dominated.
Thank you for adding that. All right, we can move on to the next statement. We're 3 more statements in before we have to end the podcast. So don't worry about time. So the next statement will be, his money is my money. Disagree? Okay, Naya.
I'm all over.
You're all over.
In the middle, but I'll explain later.
All right, no problem. So, Naya, you disagree, but what's going on? My money's not your money? Why? What's up?
I'm thinking more of like not married, not like any of that. Like my money's my money, your money's not your money. Everything is separate. But if we're married, then okay, like most of the stuff is shared. But at the same time, I'm stingy about my money, so if my money's gonna be your money, so.
Okay, got you. Beverly, you agreed, so you're gonna take all my money? Why? Why would you do that to me, bro?
I probably will. You probably should make me write down some contracts. I don't take it all. I'm kidding. I hope you don't post this. Okay, let me be serious. Let me try to get my thoughts together.
Oh, you want to talk about? Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gemise.
Yeah, I don't know. I was shaking it like this because there comes a point where it's like how Naya said, like I'm really stingy about my money. I don't mind giving it, or like obviously I don't mind sharing the numbers. Like you want to know how much I have, you can know, but doesn't mean that you don't have it all. But I think it's also this point where when you do get into a relationship, and you do want it to go towards marriage, that conversation has to be in place, right? Like, whatever money I have, it's not that you can just take, but you do have to have an understanding that, I guess, like, maybe if I needed something from you, or if you needed something from me, that it's there, right? Because I want to see you do better, you want to see me do better. And how can we do that if we're both being stingy on our money? Or like if we want to buy a house, obviously at that point, like I'm expecting you to put the money in for that house. So I need to know your money. So it's like, it depends on the moves that you're making. Yeah.
Yeah, Taji, you have
Beverly was ready.
Oh, you ready now, Beverly?
Yeah, I'm ready. I think Jiniya made a really important point when she said, like, if you are in a relationship, like it's just boyfriend and girlfriend, it's a little bit different. Yeah. But I think that your money is my money and my money is your money. So if my money is your money, then obviously your money is going to be my money. But if my money is not your money, then maybe you might not want to give me your money, but I'm so willing to take your money. So the point that I'm trying to say is that it's a partnership. And if we are both open like that, if I'm open with you with what's mine, then I will expect you to be open with what's yours as well. But I was laughing because my mom is very old school.
Yeah.
So she would say things like, my mom and like the females in my family, this is like a really women dominated family. They would say, well, if I'm married, my money, it's half mine and half his, but all his money is mine. So that's why I was laughing, because women back then, like at least in my family, they didn't play with that. But that's the reason why I was laughing. But the main point that I'm trying to make is, if we're both open and we both act accordingly, then obviously there will always be limits, because even if we're married, once again, we're still different individuals and we still have boundaries, we still have limits, we still want to have, like, we always conserve a little bit of privacy, doesn't matter how open a relationship is, but at the same time, you know, his money's my money.
We clipping this.
Oh, I feel that
Yo,
way.
Tasha, are you ready?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I agree for the most part. If we're not married, your money's your money, my money is my money, because I am very stingy with my money as well.
Okay.
But if you're willing to share, cool. If I'm willing to share, cool. Now, if we're married, there will be a joint account. But if you want to have your own personal account, that's fine, because I know I will. You know, not all of my money is going in that joint account. I'm gonna have my own separate thing going on, so just in case. But you know, what you make that's on you. If you're willing to share, cool.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. All right. So next statement: men are allowed to hit women in self-defense.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Naya. Beverly.
Oh, okay. She looks like no.
No.
She
She
don't
doesn't
know.
know. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So the people who agreed, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
I think I've had this conversation a lot with people, and I think, yeah, so self-defense specifically.
Yeah, self-defense. Not just out of nowhere. No,
yeah, not out of nowhere, because she shouldn't be hitting nobody out of nowhere either. But I do believe that, like, if a woman is hitting a man and she does not expect him to hit back, she's lost her mind. Because I mean, if you're gonna put your hands on someone, and you've learned this from school age, keep your hands to yourself. If you don't want nobody to do something to you, you don't do it to them. And so in my mind, I'm like, and even for my kids, I'm thinking, if some girl is hitting you in school and you're going, no, hit her back, because she's asking for it. She hit you, right? So you should hit her, because she's trying to make pain. She's trying to cause you pain, so you cause her pain. And that's how it's gonna be. But you don't hit them out of nowhere, because I'm teaching you to keep your hands to yourself. That's just how it's gonna go. These girls out here, baby, thinking that nobody's gonna hit them back. Yeah, okay.
Anybody else would like to add? Taji?
I agree with that 100%. First of all, that's assault. You can be put in jail. Okay? Listen, if he wants to hit you back, that's on him. You hit somebody, expect to start fighting, because that's assault. You know, you're disrespecting them. Or he can call the cops on you. Either way, it can go either way. So I was raised by both my parents that if they don't put their hands on you, you don't put your hands on them, no matter how angry you may get. And trust me, I have gotten really angry with some dudes, but I refuse to put my hands on him because I don't feel like fighting. And I don't. I don't. I think it's a respect thing. Expect to get hit. Expect to fight. If you're going to really do that, I hope you have went to the gym, worked out, and ready to throw hands. And I agree with that. If your child, you have a little son, and he getting beat up by some girl, knock her ass out. Because she shouldn't be putting her hands on you. She's a human being. You are a human being.
Yeah.
You're going to learn how to respect each other. Let's fight.
Thank you for sharing. Oh my God! Now you got anything to add?
Listen, I just can't.
And the iffy back there too. You was like, I don't know.
No, you said self-defense.
Yeah, defense. Yeah.
You know, because if you would have said just hit women,
Nah, definitely not.
Be trying it. But for self-defense, I believe that, you know, if someone hits you, you want to hit them back. I don't care if you're male, woman, alien. I don't care who you are. You hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. Now, if we arguing and like, okay, so say for instance, I'm arguing with someone and I hit them, hit me back. I hit you for a reason. I hit you because I'm angry. I hit you because I want you to hit me back. So I don't know. If someone hits you, just hit them back. I don't care who it is. I was taught that in school. My mom taught me that. Everybody done taught me that. I don't care who it is. I'm gonna hit them back.
Okay. That's not at least Beverly. What's going on?
Now that I'm actually thinking, I love this question. Actually, this is one of the questions that I like the most. Because just like we criticize and just like we want women to stand up for themselves when they are going through domestic violence, we also need to learn to respect men. Because we think that if we hit him, let's say I slap him because I'm feeling angry, we think that it's okay, and that is not okay. My mom and I, we have a lot of conversations, and she always tells me, like, if you ever hit a man, your partner, your boyfriend, and he hits you back, obviously I'm not gonna like that. I'm gonna be angry, but I'm also gonna tell you that you were looking for that because you're not his mom. Like you didn't give birth to him. You need to have a level of respect for that person. And you also have to remember that when you respect someone else, you're also respecting yourself. Because if you hit him and he hits you back, you're not gonna like that. You're not gonna feel good. That is gonna do some damage to yourself as well. But we also need to understand that the same damage that is done to women when we are hit physically, it's also that when we hit men, it produces the same amount of damage. So I think that we also need to learn that men are human beings, and just like we feel bad, and just like we feel sad, and just like we feel depressed when we go through any sort of violence, it goes the same thing for them. So I think that it's not okay. And if he hits you back, well, girl, I'll teach you to not do it next time.
All right, Beverly, thank you for that answer.
That was a nice one.
We can move on to the second to last statement, and that is participating in sex work does not make a woman less respectable.
I agree.
All right. All right, since it's unanimous, anybody can join in and explain your reason.
Sex work is the oldest job known in the history of the world. I always talk about this with my mom too. There's pretty much almost no difference between like I said, almost no difference between a housewife and someone that does sex work. Because believe me, if you are married and you tell your husband, we're not gonna have sex anymore, his coochie's gonna be closed for like a few months, he's probably gonna leave you and he's probably gonna go find someone else. You understand? And people that do sex work, it's pretty much the same. They're getting paid for what they're giving them. If you stop, because sex is it's not the most important part of our relationship, but it's important. It's essential in a way. So I think that if you are doing that, you're doing it for a reason. And it's not something that takes away who you are as a person. Because once again, it's a job. And like my mom, she would always say that. She would always say the following. When a man and a woman are having sex, they're both getting like pleasure. Not one is given more than, I'm sorry, I'm probably going off topic, but I just gotta say this. They're both giving each other pleasure, and it's better for you, let me not say it. I'm not gonna say it. Let me just finish this answer right here because it's gonna go off to another topic. Yeah. It's okay to be a sex worker.
All right, anybody else want to add?
I pretty much agree with her. I feel like anything that you do does not take away your character or who you are as a person. So I'm not going to judge someone because they are porn stars or, whatever they're doing. I don't really care. Like, that has nothing to do with me, honestly. So if you judge people based on what they do, you really look in the mirror because you're probably doing worse. So.
Okay. Like that. Taji, you got anything to share?
Yeah, I don't judge people on that. I don't know why you're doing it. You're probably doing it for survival. Maybe you're forced to do it. I'm not going to judge you on that. I'm not going to degrade you because of that. You're putting food on your table by doing that. You're not hurting someone else or trying to, cause harm to someone else. You're just trying to survive. Then by all means, more power to you.
Jimise?
Yeah, that's what I was mainly thinking. I was just thinking about like people's socioeconomic status. Like if I had no money, if I really needed to get something done and I didn't have the education or the knowledge to do it, like, and I had to go into that, like, it would just be what it is because that's the hustle that I'm doing right now. And I don't think that makes you less of a person or less of a woman just because you're out there doing something that's not pretty or it's not likable or things of that nature. Yeah, like, I mean, what if I wanted to be a teacher and still shake my ass or get some, sell my body? Like, I don't see what's the problem. I mean, we put people in these categories of like, oh, since you're this or since you're that, you shouldn't engage in such behavior. Yeah. But it's like, what if I want to? Or like, what if I have to? And I think that doesn't make me less respectable. I'm still gonna teach the kids the way I need to teach them.
I have one question. Would you put like porn stars and sex workers the same box, or would you say that they're different? And I'm saying this because of Jiniya's comment. Would you say that they are both the same, or do you think that there is a difference?
I think they're the same.
I think they're the same.
Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, with sex work, yeah, it may be secluded, but I feel like porn is just like sex work, but in front of a camera.
Very publicized.
Yeah, very publicized. So I feel like it's the same. I mean, the porn industry, if you want to get deeper into that, like, it may degrade its women, and like escorts seem to be more protected in a way because they have more of like a privatized system. There's somebody who's like leading that type of organization and they want to protect their females and stuff like that. But I feel like it's the same, maybe just different presentations, basically. Yeah. Anybody else have anything to add before we move on to the next question? No? All right, great. And so now we're on the last question. And you ladies seem to be really sensible, really respectable individuals. So I ask you this, what do you guys bring to the table? Men are always saying that women don't bring anything to the table. They always demand that he has to have a large penis, he has to be 6 feet tall, he has to have 6-figure salary. So what do you ladies bring to the table?
I always see that question from men, but they never say what they actually want.
Okay.
Now, a woman can bring everything that we feel like men need to the table, and it still may not feel like enough for them as far as experiences go and talking to different friends. Okay. But for me personally, I can say that I'm provide emotional support because I know there's a lot of men out there that don't get enough of that. They feel like they always have to act a certain way so people don't judge them or they don't feel less of a man or something like that. I can provide that emotional support or just support, period. Because I've talked to a few male friends and they feel like when they're in a relationship or they talk to females, it's always about them. And, when they need support, they're never there. So I can say I bring that to the table. I can provide for myself. I can protect myself and my man if I need to be his backup. But I get that they don't just want good sex. They need a partner. They may not openly say that, but they need someone who's by their side. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm a ride or die. That's definitely a no. Because men will take that to the extreme.
Supposed to be a ride or die. What happened?
Nah. Okay. But I will be there for them. Because I think that's what a lot of men need the most. They need that support. Someone to go to when everyone else is not around. Someone they can be themselves with. Because one way they're one way with their boys, they're one way with their parents, and they feel like they can't be their true self. And I feel like for me, I can provide that safe space for them.
Cool. I like that. Thank you. Anybody else? What do you bring to the table since you demanded so much?
Listen.
Beverly, you got something to say? What's good?
I would say, yo, I didn't read that question in the ones you sent to see. Now I gotta think about this. But I would say reliability. I would say stability as well. There is always a little bit of crazy, I'm not gonna lie, you know. Can't lie, you know. But I think that balance overall, because obviously in a relationship you have times where you need to be serious, but also times when you want a little bit more excitement. So I think that being able to bring that balance to the table and not make the relationship so like a monotony, like everything is always like a constant. You also want to be able to, you know, oh my God, let's have some fun. Also, you know, we got to work on that. I think that support, please remember, I said crazy. That's like the negative part. So I'm giving you the positive ones right now. So I would say support, understanding that if whether it be emotional support or financial support, if I love you and like we're together, I'm gonna support you as much as I can. So, you know, other things that we can't mention, but overall, yeah.
Okay. All right, I got some sweet answers here. What's going on? Now you got anything to share?
Okay. I really don't know. I'm not really in relationships like that, so. But I guess I'm just going based off how I am. I would say my loyalty to anyone is like always there, no matter what. So if I'm close to you and I like ride for you, that's it. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Let me see what else. I don't really know, but like
It's a good one. You can't
that is.
I guess for like, I'm very big on motivating people to do whatever they want to do. Like, if you don't want to be what your mom or dad said that you should be, you need to throw that in the garbage and do what you want to do. So I guess that. I'm very funny, so.
That's not bad.
Funny. Some people, you know, they just
dry.
The personality not there. So, you know, I have the personality, I bring the humor. So I guess you say that.
Okay. Thank you, Nana. Gemise, what do you bring in or what have you brought to this table?
Man, he act like you don't know.
Yeah, Beverly.
You're going to answer me the question like that. You know, I was thinking about it and I was trying to figure out like what is something about myself that has like been consistent throughout, like no matter what.
Yeah,
and I think
relationships too. Yeah.
Huh?
Like you're thinking in your past relationships.
Yeah. Too. And I think it's the point that like what I bring to the table is that the fact that I'll have the highest expectations for you. Like I think I see people's potential before they even believe it. And just as much as like they may not want to probably do this thing or they're like, nah, I'll never be able to do it. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, like you can do it. This is what you need to do. Or like motivating them to get to that point. Because I think that people think they can always, that most of the time they'll be at this like little level. Like there's nothing more that they can even bring to the table. And I think for me, like I never see anyone at a point where I'm like, I expect the least from them. Like I hold people to like this high standard. I'm like, you better be able to do it. And I think I've done it with you too. Like that's just how I am. Like I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah, I can co-sign that she has seen potential that I didn't see. Like I was really sure. So you. I was short-sighted in terms of like I was just seeing all of my mistakes in front of my face. So it was just nice to have someone, even I think even before we dated, just have to have like somebody that believes in you. So it was a nice change of pace, basically. So yeah, Beverly.
I think now that you said that, it
Yeah,
reminds me to the question that you asked before.
which one?
Like when you are with does being like does having a partner like makes you feel a little bit more ambitious.
Oh yeah,
And I think like what you guys just said right now, her being able to like see certain things in you and you noticing that because so it's like it's a beautiful thing. It really is. But now I want to ask you something. Taji, that's my mom.
Yes.
she's trying to.
Wait, that's your mom?
Yeah,
She's trying to
she's
quiet.
trying.
Oh,
Yeah, my mom, sorry. Taji said something. She said like men are always like saying these things, but we don't know what they actually want us to bring to the table. So I mean, you're the only man like in this conversation. So from your perspective, what do you think like a guy is looking for in a girl? Like what do they want the girl to bring to the table besides sex? Because you know, sex can't hold anything. You know,
Sex.
besides that.
From what I hear, the main problem for men, especially with that question, is like they see that women demand all of these things, like, oh, my pocket's gotta be fat, I gotta be tall. Anybody under 6 feet is like 5'3". Like I gotta be working a six-figure salary. Like they just want women to be able to reciprocate those values to themselves. They don't like answers like when women be like, "Oh, I'm the table," like, "Oh, this ass is the table," "Oh, this pussy is the table." Like, no, like I want something more, something where we can both use to be more productive and to build our relationship. So to generally try to give you an answer, I would say something of value, not just your body. It can be your smarts, your intelligence, your I would also say like your goals in life, what you want to do. And like if you try to incorporate him into your success, that's also a good thing too. That means you believe in his potential to provide for you. And that can also be like another way to like make him be like, oh yeah, this is wifey material right there. Yeah, she's the one to keep. And so yeah, to just basically give like a overall answer, just give a man something to like be able to be like, yes, like when he's talking to his boys, yeah, my girl does this, that, and the third. Like, she holds me down. Like, she does things that wherever I'm shortcoming at, she supplements that and helps me improve in that situation. And so you guys are both growing at the same time.
I'm sorry, like now I just like so many questions come to mind. Like, do you think that men are more demanding now than before? Or do you think like a lot of that has to do with like feminism and women like wanting specific things, like being more vocal now than before?
That's a great question. Men being more demanding, I would say so, yes, because I feel like I wouldn't even say it's feminism. I would say it's like the fear of being played because there's this idea of being called a simp when you're like doing everything for a woman with like, and she only gives you like a little bit of her attention, but you over here giving her flowers, buying her Ubers, all these dinner dates for nothing in return. Not trying to say like we deserve something in return, but like I feel like men fear that, and so like if men begin to see that women are demanding all these things, it's like okay, so what about us? Like I want something too. Like Valentine's Day is not just a holiday for a woman. Like I want to be treated well. Like I want you to run a bath for me and like make the mood nice, and then we could come home and do something special. But like I also think that maybe feminism in a way it might be indirect influence. Yes, women are realizing their agency more and more day by day, and so I feel like men tend to like challenge those ideas more because women are be like, okay, I want this, this, and that, and a third. and then they push that back on feminism. Like, oh, because I'm a woman, I deserve to have this in my life, right? I deserve to be pampered because I'm a woman. And we're not like, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you deserve that. It doesn't mean you're entitled to that. You have to work towards that. And I feel like a lot of men feel like women aren't working, especially in the sense that they demand all these things, but they're not working to, hold that or like keep that in their lives. They're just demanding it and expect it to be given to them on a golden platter, basically. But yeah, thank you for that. That definitely made me think. Yeah. Any more questions before we graciously end this podcast?
No, but I just have a thought right there. Not a thought.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Naya.
I have it on social media. I don't know if you guys watched like B. Simone when she said that a lot of women demand a lot of stuff from men, but we don't even have the same qualities. So like women, they can say they want someone with 6 figures and they're still working minimum wage. So how can you expect that out of someone and you're not even up to that same standard? So I think it's just funny how a lot of people demand stuff out of people that they can't even do. If you're not even 4'11", why do you want someone to see? Like, it's just funny because some of this stuff is just kind of ridiculous. Because why would you just? I don't know. I feel like with those criteria, you're missing out on the other people that could have given you the best experience ever. So you're seeking something else that's not even going to give you anything.
Definitely.
So stop chasing stuff that doesn't belong to you.
Definitely. Thank you, Naya. All right. If you guys have nothing else to add, that is the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for taking 2 hours out of your day and joining us in this nice conversation. You can catch us on Stitcher Radio, Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Play, we're on Red Circle. So like, there's no excuse. We're everywhere.